I'd like to talk just briefly about outreach before we take questions. One, we have a website, forwardohio.com, right? Forwardohio.com. We have a Twitter page. The handle is @forwardohio, all one word. So please follow that. And then we have a Facebook page, which you can friend us. Right? It would be friending, right? Friending us on that particular page. We also wanted to say that we've done some outreach with our colleagues. We're going to do more. We have to make some changes to the legislation in terms of grammatical or what do they call them? What's the term of art? Technical. We have to make some technical changes, and we're going to do outreach throughout the entire Senate and throughout the entire House. So we're trying to be an open book and get as many people to support the legislation as we possibly can. And as a number of people have noted, it has components from those who are conservative, those who are moderate, and those who are liberal, and we put them all together into one plan in order to move Ohio forward. So.
Can you give us some examples of the conservative provisions in here?
Well, I would point specifically to some of the Ohio Infrastructure Development Loan Program, the program for Ohio Skills Bank in order to increase skills for employers, the tax credits given to people if you hire somebody who's been out of employ for 6 months. For veterans who have been out of employ for 6 months, you get a tax credit. As well, some of the funding sources are those suggested by the Buckeye Institute. So that's what we've done from the conservative standpoint.
Senators, there's been, as you know, a number of economic development bills, legislation, laws passed in the past decade. What makes this one stand out, do you think, or
do you see the man over there?
Different?
Do you see where we are? I mean, I think that says a lot.
I mean, having the support of the National Urban League as strongly as stated by President Mario, I think that, we know that certainly sets it apart. But Forward Ohio is very comprehensive. I mean, we look at, again, helping small businesses compete and expand, positioning Ohio's economy for growth. I mean, we take a broad approach to tackling Ohio's challenges in a very, very comprehensive way. And as you know, that in the General Assembly, all of our members have an opportunity to put their mark on this framework. But Forward Ohio is certainly a beginning point. It is not an ending point. And it is my hope, to add to what my colleague Senator Kearney said, in terms of us reaching across the aisle. We will reach across the aisle, over the aisle, under the aisle, and around the aisle. There should not be a partisan way to put folks back to work. And we need to be about the business of the people of the state of Ohio and get over ourselves and stop putting our seats over service. So Senator Kearney we have put the framework out there, we have the support of our colleagues right here, and we are ready to roll up our sleeves and get to work for the citizens of this state.
You talk about creating jobs is really the #1 goal. Let's say you've got an employer and they're ready to hire one new worker. And so they've got 2 workers in front of them, and one's been unemployed for 2 months and another's been unemployed for 2 years. So they say, oh, I can get this tax credit for hiring the guy who's been unemployed 2 years. Okay, so the taxpayers now have lost $4,000 or $5,000 that they could have spent for schools or something else. Instead, that goes to the employer. We still have one of those 2 people unemployed. One person has a job, but one person was going to get a job anyway. What's the net good that was accomplished here?
Well, a couple of things. One is you're looking at it as if, oh, somebody's ready to hire. Well, if they're ready to hire, somebody would have already been employed. What we're trying to do is move the ball forward in that there are people who aren't hiring now, and this is an incentive for them to hire. I mean, as a small business owner myself, this is impetus to say, hey, maybe we can make this work by hiring another person. And then if you hire the other person, the ancillary benefits are that person has a paycheck to take home to his or her family, family stability, increased housing, better neighborhoods. I mean, all the typical ancillary taxes. Oh, yeah, that's right. The crazy thing, taxes. No, taxes are paid. Schools are improved. I mean, it's a snowballing effect.
To the positive.
To the positive, right?
These are going to get people to hire people
Right.
who weren't thinking even, or they weren't going to really hire.
Right.
Now they're going to, maybe.
Right. What Senator Turner and I have done is we've targeted the places that are hurting the most, and that's what, quite frankly, President Morial's 12-point plan and the National Urban League's plan, they're targeting the folks who hurt the most, and so that's why this bill is so important.
And I want to add, this is part of a greater need. I mean, certainly one size does not fit all. I mean, we're not naive enough to think that just because we offer a tax credit, if a business was not going to hire, they're not going to hire even if they have that tax credit. But somehow in this country and in this state, we have lost our knack for empathy. And we have got to help the people who are in the greatest needs, and thereby helping individuals. We help families, we help communities, we help this state, and my goodness, we help this nation. And Bill, I want to add to that point that in Cuyahoga County, for example, we have structural unemployment in our state, where we need to have a higher skilled workforce to take advantages of jobs that exist right now. So as of May 2011, there were over 25,000 jobs online, help wanted ads for Cuyahoga County alone. And more than 70% were middle and upper income jobs between $30,000 and $49,000 a year. And more than half required less than a 4-year college degree. So we have a structural unemployment problem as well, and this bill seeks to try to deal with that as well through our education and workforce development initiatives. We have got to be able to arm the citizens of this state for the 21st century, not just for tomorrow, but give them the skill sets they need to compete 10 years from now and even 20 years from now. And I would say that that is an investment worth making. Yeah, ask questions.
The governor's focus, as you know, in terms of economic development, has been wrapped up in Jobs Ohio. Are there parts of this that you can go to him and say, look, this can mesh with this new Jobs Ohio entity?
Well, I certainly would hope so, but the fact of the matter is unemployment rate is still very high in the state of Ohio, despite the governor's legislation. And as has been mentioned a number of times, this bill is designed to address those who are in the most need. Now, you mentioned about the governor's bill. Let's go through a couple of things. One, we have the small business microloans initiative, which that would mesh well with it. The minority business bonding program, that would mesh well with some legislation. I think I know Representative Weddington and Representative Hurd worked very hard on that. Let's go to the increased state support for local governments and school districts. That initiative. The tax credit for broadband development, quite frankly, that was an idea that was put forward during the budget that didn't get legs. And then, well, Senator Turner, you want to do the some of these other two parts of that?
I mean, strengthening the Ohio Skills Bank. The employee of the Ohio bill will further empower the Ohio Skills Bank by funding competitive grants to existing and proposed workforce intermediaries and industry partners. I mean, we can go on and on. Funding to help those who have been chronically unemployed, to create the Bridge to Work programs. So to answer your question, I mean, this should be something that the governor should jump at the opportunity of partnering with us on. This is not any particular party's claim. What I would like for us to be able to come together a year from now, 2 years from now, even 5 years from now, to say that we did the people's business, that we did increase employment in the state of Ohio, that the unemployment rate is no longer 9.1% generally speaking, and then when you distill down into communities of color, it's even double or triple that. So hopefully we can lock arm in arm and put away the R and put away the D and come to the righteous party, which is the party of RT, and that's the party of the right thing. Those are the kind of folks we are looking for. That's what we are looking for. And I do want want to say, and to President Mariel and President Hightower, we cannot thank you enough for embracing us in this way. Yes. We are ready, willing, and more than able to do the work that will make the difference in the lives of people. And I want everybody in this room to hold us accountable. I mean, you got a whole bunch of elected officials talking a good game, but when it comes to doing the work, you got folks who ran on a platform of creating jobs, but when it comes to doing the work, they have not done a darn thing thus far to make the lives of Ohioans better. We need to be about the people's business. And in my closing remarks, and I'm going to give this back to my colleague who's probably like, oh my Lord, she's on her roll. I am. You know, Albert Einstein said in August of 1919 that poisonous weeds and corn can grow in the same soil if the conditions are right. He said, I believe that the conditions matter more than the soil. So it is time for us to create ripe conditions in the state of Ohio, and Forward Ohio is a great framework to begin that work. Thank you.
And then just to further answer your question, Senator Tavares had a bill to against discriminating against people who are chronically unemployed, and so that would dovetail as well.
Senator, I may have missed it. Where does the money come from to, we're giving tax credits, so that means less money. Where does that money get made up, or where's the main source for this money?
Okay, we take casino fees, right? $100 million from there. We take the agreed upon tax loopholes from, some of them from the Buckeye Institute, Greater Ohio Center for Community Solutions. We implement the tobacco tax, and we utilize part of the rainy day fund. And so, as we referenced before, this is a gumbo, meaning that we took parts from just about everywhere we could, the best ideas from all political spectrums, so that we could gain broad-based support.
And the total, is there a total dollar number we can say this is a package?
Well, I don't want to say a number, and I'll tell you why. We have the bill. We had technical changes, and I want to make sure that when we release the bill, we have a precise number. Now, the zip code, I will tell you, is between $300 million and $400 million. That doesn't give you the exact location, but I just so you know, we know what area we're talking about. But we will have that in the next couple of days when we get the back from the LSC. And we'll distribute that. And then also we'll be in Cleveland, right?
Cleveland on the 18th. Cleveland
on the 18th. And now I'm going to say this. Donna Dones-Baker will kill me if I don't. Cincinnati as well?
We're
Cincinnati as well, right?
We're working on a flight schedule.
Okay. Okay, thank you all. Thank you very much to Mrs. Hightower for hosting us, and President Hightower, I'm sorry, and President Moreau. Thank you.